I've returned from the void! Welcome back to the Mountain Territories. I am putting my next Ridge Clan video on hold for a little bit, as they take a long time, and I'm not mentally prepared. So, you guys have fun with that. But we're gonna take a look at the next one of my personal clans for my personal story, the Mountain Territories. Welcome back. Last time we talked about Pine Clan, and we have 2 more clans to go. Today, we're going to be talking about Prairie Clan, which is one of my favorites. But before we get into that, I want to thank you guys all so much for your support in my last few videos, and for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers. I think we're at 1.2k now, but I can't remember for sure. I am so grateful that you guys have been willing to listen to me yap about cats and draw my little things. So thank you so much. Cheers to a long future of videos that are like 6 months apart. I'm sorry. Okay, now call me Matt Pat because we're gonna get into some lore. That was bad. Prairie Clan cats are regarded as adaptable and swift. Prairie Clan lives on the western edge of the mountain range known as the Starry Peaks, in what we kind of consider in real life the Rocky Mountains. This would be considered in real life a prairie landscape, less the name, and they're settled in the area known as the Buffalo Prairies. Their territory extends off of the map and does not reach its edge until a small bit of two-leg place. The cats of Prairie Clan are well known for their speed, and they practice racing as a valuable part of training. Being able to run is incredibly important for the cats of Prairie Clan, as it's their biggest asset to not become prey from large birds, wolves, and coyotes. The open territory of the fields themselves can become incredibly dangerous, as it can take some time to make it back to camp to warn the clan of a nearby danger or an injured clanmate. Due to this, they have speed and messaging integral to their culture, with the fastest cats being more likely to receive an important role like deputy or even leader, as they're considered more reliable. The cats of Prairie Clan are also known to be very open to outsiders, being the closest to two-leg place. Countless kitty pets and loners have joined the clan this way, and as long as they have the speed and reliability of the clan-born cats, they're welcomed as if they have been there their entire lives. So, with that stated, let's get into the cats of Prairie Clan! Lakestar has been the leader of Prairie Clan for many moons now, and is the oldest current leader in the clans. Her stature as a small, stout cat made her life as an apprentice difficult, to say the least. She had to learn to keep up with the other cats, but it was her determination to succeed, despite her lack of vertical endowment, that earned her her warrior name, Lakeheart. She quickly climbed the ranks in Prairie Clan, and eventually became leader. As a leader, she's known to be stern, but kind. She was the first leader to propose the idea of inviting cats from the horse place into the clan during a time where there weren't enough warriors, and her wisdom makes her a valuable ally, and not one many around the mountains would dare turn into an enemy. While kind to outsiders, she is no pushover, and she will do anything to protect those under her care. Skycurl is a relatively young warrior, but was chosen for the position of deputy a few moons ago after the previous one, Ferretfoot, stepped down and took his place as an elder. She's upbeat and friendly, with a great mind for strategy. One of her greatest strengths as deputy has been her ability to organize cats to get things done with a positive outlook. She's like the team hype woman. Her energy is a big contrast, though, to her sister, Fallowbrook. Remarkably, though, the two get along great regardless. They were welcomed into the clan as kits, as their mother died giving birth near the border between Prairie Clan and the horse place. Skycurl and Fallowbrook were then raised by Sparrowflight. She's a fun cat. I like her a lot. I would love to see what would happen if she became leader one day. Hailshade is the good-natured medicine cat of Prairie Clan. He's been at it for a while now, but his energy has never faded. A silly guy, but he does have a weird amount of knowledge stored up in his brain. He's like one of those kids in high school that was a jack of all trades. Like, really funny, but also really smart. The class clown who was also an algebra tutor. He recently took on Turtlepaw as his apprentice and has been a great teacher. They've been getting along really well. He's got more of the medicine knowledge, and she's proving herself to have quite the connection to her patients and Star Clan. They are the duo of a century. Turtlepaw is an absolute sweetheart. She's a very expressive cat, often feeling very strongly about issues in the clan. Like I said, she has a strong connection to her clanmates that end up in the medicine cat's care. She spends extra time making sure that they're not just well physically when they leave, but mentally. She's got a big tendency to act on impulse due to her empathetic nature. If someone needs a shoulder to cry on, she is right there. If a cat in another clan or even two-leg place needs care, she will run as fast as physically possible to find and help them. Recently, Turtlepaw found and tried to help a she-cat who was around her age. She was bleeding from her front paw, and while she seemed grateful, she left without a trace. Now, whenever Turtlepaw goes out into the grasses to look for herbs, she wonders if she'll ever run into her again. One of the cats seen regularly by the medicine cats is the senior warrior Mumblestep. He started to go deaf at a pretty young age and still requires regular checkups to make sure there isn't significant blockage or an infection in his ears. When thinking about his deafness, I wanted to try to choose a reason for it beyond, he's just deaf. As of now, I've decided that as a kit, he experienced frequent ear infections, and with how small he was at the time, they were a lot difficult to treat. Being deaf does not stop this fellow, though. Another idea with him I had was the concept of kitty cat sign language. Along with the regular body language of cats, he uses certain movements of his tail and flicks of his ears to communicate more distinct concepts. I have thought about drawing this out, but I haven't decided yet. Because of this, Mumblestep is a really expressive warrior. When this man is happy, he sports the biggest grin in all three clans, and due to his large size and quiet nature, he can be incredibly intimidating to rivals. He also recently finished training Weasel Runner as his apprentice. Mouse Nibble is Mumblestep's firecracker of a mate. She frequently acts as his interpreter and biggest supporter. She is loud and somewhat abrasive during clan meetings. I wanted her as one of those cats in the actual books, frequently shouting at the gathering. I love her being dramatic. She reminds me of, ironically, Mousefur, although that wasn't intentional. I love how dramatic she is. If any of these cats did theater in high school, it's her. She did theater and was also a 3-sport athlete. Now she's evolved into a cool, almost grandma that everyone looks at and goes, dude, why aren't I as cool as this old lady? That's it, that's her. Also, her and Mumblestep are Turtlepaw's parents. Hairthorn, my Shayla. My Shayla. Hairthorn is a silly fellow. He gives me the vibes of a younger version of Doc from Back to the Future. Or maybe even like Kinger from The Amazing Digital Circus. Lots of energy, not great at saying the right thing, ever, and town lunatic. Hairthorn is notorious for leaving camp to go on random walks, and no one is quite sure where he goes. They love him anyway, though. No one in the clan is entirely sure where he came from either, aside from Lakestar. To the rest of the cats in Prairie Clan, he's this anomaly that exists in the warrior den. Sometimes. He is a very talented messenger throughout the clans, though, and delivers news across the border often. He's kind of a small-town celebrity between the entire alliance now. Fallowbrook is a serious, to-the-point she-cat. She's known to be good with apprentices, as her entire world revolves around things being structured. Everything has to happen at a certain time, and battle moves and strategies have a correct way to be explained. She's currently mentoring Lilacpaw, who's taken in this well, from her standpoint. While she respects her sister Skycurl, she can't help but feel the littlest bit jealous. She's organized, reliable, and keeps up with the clan's good reputation to a T. Why did Skycurl get chosen then? She can't let her feelings fester. She has better things to do than worry about intrapersonal drama. The only cat who seems to be able to get Fallowbrook to relax to any extent is her mate, Figrose. The two of them have been mates for a few moons now. Let's go lesbians! And Figrose tries to get her to challenge her ideas that everything has to be one way. She's an idealist, and she thinks that there are a lot of different scent trails that lead to the same piece of prey. She loves Fallowbrook anyway, though, and admires her work with the Apprentices and younger cats. In her own life, Figrose is one of the fastest cats in the clan. She once beat a hawk that was diving for a kit 6 fox lengths away. Or at least that's what the Apprentices say. She acts as the primary messenger between Prairieclan and the other clans because of this. She is incredibly proud of her role and works together with Hare and will never turn down a race if offered. She might even go easy on the poor soul that tries to beat her. Albert, my beloved! Albert is a former kitty pet who was introduced to the clan as an apprentice. There are not many cats in Prairieclan willing to do den work and stay in camp, so as much as some may call him cowardly, they do appreciate what he does for the clan. He's frequently been known to fashion toys for the kits out of bits of old moss and twigs, and he credits this skill to his time as a kitty pet. There were many things that looked like pieces of prey given to him by his housefolk. He hopes that these things he makes now can help kits learn about hunting before they become apprentices. Albert is sort of like if Dustbelt and Daisy did a fusion dance from Steven Universe. A sweet boy. Weasel Runner is a stinky little man. Evil little stinky little poopy little man. He is a stinker. He's a little poopy stinker. He's currently the youngest warrior in Prairieclan and is very overly worried about proving himself. If it's not clear from his expression, he hates Albert. He thinks kitty pets have no place in the clan and takes every chance he can to glare at the warrior's stupid little bell caller. Aside from being a massive drama queen and a master of passive aggressiveness, he does his duties well. As a good hunter, despite his young age, Weasel Runner frequently leads patrols to the best areas to hunt rabbits. This skill was something he picked up from Mumblestep, who he respects a great deal. He's like a father figure to Weasel Runner, but he would never admit it. Angry, rude boy, but he loves his mentor dad guy. Lilacpaw is the oldest apprentice and tends to be the most shy. She's quiet and well-mannered, wanting to avoid conflict whenever possible. To put it bluntly, she can be a doormat sometimes. While shy, she makes up for it in pure talent for hunting and fighting. Being quiet makes her an incredibly good listener, and when she and the other apprentices began working on hunting, she was able to take to it really quickly. Lilacpaw is an observer, and once she sees something done, she can replicate it incredibly quickly. Taking from her mentor Fallowbrook, she's known for having the best stock for hunting rabbits out of all the apprentices. Morningpaw is a big cat with a big heart. A mediator, they find themselves settling disputes between older cats often. They enjoy hearing stories from the clan's elders and helping out where they can with the kittens. Morningpaw isn't sure if they can see themselves going into the nursery full-time, but they appreciate the goings-on of camp and admire Albert specifically. Maybe den building and upkeep might be where they go when they become a warrior. They don't think that they would be one for having kits, as the responsibility seems to be a little too much, but they would find their solace somewhere in camp. Their mentor is Mouse Nibble, and the two get along very well. Emberpaw is a rude and brash apprentice. He's a hothead and cares very much about the warrior code and all of the rules. His mentor is Weasel Runner, which Lakestar thought might help chill both of them out, but ended up making a bigger issue of snottiness. Any small infraction is enough to set Emberpaw off, and this comes from a place of wanting incredibly bad to be accepted. His mom died when he was a kid, and he was the product of a half-clan fling between her and some Pine Clan cat. Emberpaw hates this part of himself, and has been trying to prove himself loyal, even when everyone wasn't even doubting his loyalty in the first place. Okay, on to the nursery. Currently in the nursery we have 2 queens. The first is Cypresspelt with her son Prairieclan. Cypresspelt is a calculating warrior and operates under the notion that if you say something stupid, somebody's gotta hold you accountable. She is a pot stir. When she was an apprentice, she was a pretty big gossip, but she's mellowed out a bit, if only slightly. She had Prairieclan about 5 moons ago and has not revealed anything about his parentage. Some people suggest that it may be a Tom from the horse place, as he does show quite the resemblance. For now, Cypresspelt is just focusing on getting him ready to begin his training in a moon, and is glad to finally be able to return to her warrior duties soon after. Prairieclan is excitable and talkative. He is just so happy to almost be done in the nursery, and he cannot wait to get out onto the territory. He's already been practicing his running skills, sending messages across the camp from the nursery all the way to the elders or the medicine den. He's showing great promise in this skill, and he was complimented by Hairthorn for his speed. Sparrowflight has just had her litter of 2. They're only a few weeks old, so their personalities aren't quite developed yet. Speaking of Hairthorn, he was their father. Sparrowflight is a very talented nursery queen and loves spending time with her kits. She's had a few litters before now, and she's excited to welcome Featherkit and Hawkkit into the clan. Featherkit is a bit more curious as of late and is a she-cat, and Hawkkit is a very sleepy tom. The clan only has one elder, Lakestar's mate, Ferretfoot. Ferretfoot matches Lakestar's freak, which makes sense because he was her deputy for many moons before his retirement. They're both witty and bounce off of each other during clan meetings, much to the chagrin of everyone else who just want to hear the news for the day. He has many scars, many of which have come from trying to catch hawks. They're often great predators of kits in the camp, and while he was a warrior, he made a point to check for them. Once a hawk tried to carry off a little one, and he managed to jump into the air and grab it by the wing. He was scraped up, but was given the privilege of being able to say, "You should have seen the other guy." A cherished storyteller, he is honored for his timeless humor and wisdom. And that is everyone! Thank you so much for joining me on this crazy journey and bearing with how busy life has gotten in the past little bit. I would love to say that I can upload regularly, but I'd be lying. If you want to find me on other platforms, I have Instagram, I have a Tumblr, and you can always check out some of my art that I post on my community tab. Have a good day, and remember, if you aren't a little cringe, you aren't living. Bye!